So in this tutorial, we'll show you how to create a form that can be embedded on a website, or you can have a link directly to your form. There's a number of options to embed a form. But to first go to the forms in your account, you go to Sites and then Forms. When you hover over Forms, you have the builder, which is where you start creating the form. You can analyze different forms, and also you can see your submissions as well. So if we click on Builder, this takes us to where our existing forms will be. Now, if you just add a form here, it will put it into this area, and the more you have, the more pages you need to scroll through. So you may like to organize things into a folder initially. So we've got a couple of folders here that contain multiple forms. So let's just create a folder, and I will just call this test. And we can see now that with the icon, it's created a folder, which is, if it's just a form, it doesn't have the folder icon. So let's open that, and then let's add a form just by clicking here. And I am going to rename this test form. Test form 1. And if you just click off, it will save that. Now the standard builder comes with some standard fields that we use, and if you don't want to have that, you just click the cross button. So let's say we don't need to ask for the phone number, and we don't want to have the consent, marketing consent on this particular form. Incidentally, if Conect has set up your CRM, there is a separate consent method, which is an email that goes out to them. So you may not need that. And there's a button here, which you can change the text. So you may not want to call it button. You may want to call it submit. Or you could have things like claim your offer now and so on. And then if you wanted to have subtext, you could just put click here, so on. If you wanted to change the color of this particular font, then you can centralize it. You can go left, and so on. And the color, we just turn that to white, for instance, like that, and we can see that it changes. But it's important to know what we want the button to do as well. So when you've clicked on here, it will submit the button for you, and we can have a number of actions associated with that as well. So there's lots of things that you can do, changing the color, the size of the font, and so on. Literally anything you need to do can be done there. These are your links to your privacy policy and things like that. Then if you want to add other fields, then you can do that here. So you can add for other form elements like date of birth, another button. You can actually collect payments from forms as well now. You can drop an organization in. So if you wanted the company name, you could take that, and you can even change this. So if organization is not what you would like to see, you can just change that to company name and so on. And you can make it required as well. The reason why there's a hidden form there is if you had some of your own tracking code or something like that, you could put a hidden form so it didn't need filling out. Just drag them and move them around as you need. You can put an image on. You can do the reCAPTCHA. So if you want to stop spam, you can put that in there as well. So literally, it's fairly self-explanatory. You can do anything you want with the quick add fields. Now, you'll also notice that if you go to a contact field, such as this, click on a contact, this is just a demo account, you'll see that there's lots of other fields that have been created. So general information tab, there's questions that have been put in here. And this is a medical CRM. So there's different questionnaires that have been added from forms from like a medical questionnaire. Then there's feedback as well that people have left you or would like to leave. You can ask for reviews. Then there's additional information. Now here there's lots of medical questions like, do you have a pacemaker, and so on. And you might want to add those to a particular form. If we go back to, scroll right down, because there's lots of these particular forms. Any of these can be added into a form, but then you've got things like orders, and you've got email and SMS options. So if you wanted to add any of these to the form, then it can be done by using the custom fields button here. And if you notice, some of those things that we were scrolling through are here. So you just drag and move them across. So we've taken over the quick feedback score onto here so that you can actually have people leave you reviews, and you can make that required, and you can add other tips on here for them. So there might be other custom fields that you could use. So you could create your own questionnaire on a form by, do you have any metal implants, for instance? And when this form is submitted, they will flow all into here so that you will find that these are all ticked based on the form if you're using the custom fields from here. So the next question is, what happens if you want something on your form, but it's not available in the custom fields? Well, that's where you have to then create your own custom field. And to do that, you go down to settings here. And you go to custom fields here. And these are arranged in folders. So you'll see that there's the contact information. And if you remember, there was the additional information as well. So if we go to additional, well, I'll pick one that doesn't have many. So let's go to contact, for instance. And we want to add another field to our form. So then you can put here, you have a number of options where you can just have a single line of text. So anything that they write in the field on the form will be in a single line. If you want them to write a paragraph, then you can create a multi-line. You can pick a drop-down box and so on. So let's just go for a single line, make it simple, and then we can call it something like notes. So if you want a note field on your form, then we can do that. It's linked to a contact, and we'll just save it. So if we remember, it was in the contact folder. So now we go back to the form, and I'm going to save this form now. And in order to pick up the field that we've just created, I'll just refresh this form so that it'll then find that additional field. So we'll go back to here to plus, and we'll go to custom fields, and it was in contact, wasn't it? And you'll notice there's notes here. So we'll just move that across here, and now we've created our own custom field that we can drop onto our form. Then when this form's completed, it will go into the customer or the contact field populated as they populated it on the form. So now what do we do if we want to embed this form? So we can go up here and go integrate, and you've got a number of options where you can have it stuck to the sidebar, or it slides in, or it pops up, or it's actually within the page of your website. So a questionnaire, for instance, that was a long one, you'd have that on a form on the web page itself. So you can create a link to a form, or you can copy the embed code. If I go copy form here, it's copied the link. Then if we go to another tab and paste that form link, you can see it takes us straight to the form. So that's all we're going to cover in this. In the next video, we'll show you what you can do when a form is submitted. So in other words, when that submit button is clicked, we can have all sorts of actions take place other than just recording the values that were entered into the form. So I hope that was valuable for you, and we thank you for your time, all from the team here at connect.co.uk.